Hey Booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. Got my peppermint hot chocolate right here in my sugar plum fairy mug, and I wanted to briefly talk to you guys a little bit about my week. Last week I talked about how I felt I had lost my holiday spirit and I couldn't find it and couldn't figure out what the deal was, because this is usually one of my favorite times of the year. By the way, if you can figure out my cheesy pin, let me know down below. It's super corny. I've had it since I was a little girl, but it does work wonders in the retail industry. So this week has been so difficult. I have gotten some reading done and we will talk about the books, but the week started off with the fact that we're not going to be able to see my family at Christmas, and I'm super sad about that. But we have an Arctic cold front that moved in this week. Be talking more about that shortly. So that was really, really difficult for me because I really wanted to see my family and I wanted to celebrate Christmas with them. I realized that we don't get an unlimited number of those kinds of things, so I just really wanted to be with them, and yeah, it was just a bummer, but that's okay. And then oh my gosh, you guys, Wednesday night. Okay, so Jason takes me home from work. It's so icy, all afternoon, things in our community just start shutting down because this Arctic cold front was moving in. The temperatures dropped so quickly. 30 degrees in an hour. And the wind was blowing. We've been in a wind chill warning since Wednesday through Friday. So yeah, it's just been, it's bitterly cold. Thursday morning when I woke up, it was 26 below, and that's before we even factor the wind in. On Thursday, some places the lows were with the wind were negative 60. Where I live, we were expecting negative 40 to negative 50 below zero. So even though I've lived most of my life in the West, I do remember days of 40 below, but 50 below and 60 below are just so extreme. Yeah, it's just really, you can get frostbite in 5-10 minutes, your nose, your fingertips, your toe. Anything that the air can get to, it can work really fast. So that was not so great. So we get home, we're like, oh, good, we're home. I was gonna go take a nap. Anyway, the phone rings and it's the doctor's office for Jason. He had gone in previously in the day to get a test done, and they called him and said, oh, we need you to get this other test done right away. And the place that they wanted to send him was closed because things have been closing. So I heard the woman on the phone tell Jason, so you're gonna need to go to the emergency room. And I was just like, oh my God, is this really happening? And I don't want to go into Jason's health issues. He can discuss those with you if you want, but it was a potentially very serious situation. And I was really torn about do I go with Jason? What do I do? Because our home was just being assaulted by this weather. There's still a cat to take care of, and while those may not seem like big deals to you, it is a big deal to us. And so Jason wanted me to call our families and let them know, and he was gonna text me, and then I could disperse information out to everyone. And so yeah, so for a while I just was kind of in shock and like sitting on the couch and just like, I almost sent a Voxer message to a couple of you, and then I'm like, well, like, what the heck? Like, they can't do anything about it. So I was thinking of some of you in that instant, but yeah. So that's I mean, in spite of like my little bow and my cheesy pin and my jingle bell earrings, like, yeah, that was a very low point. So Jason's like updating me and sending information out, and it's getting late, and I'm expecting him, like, they said, well, that if he did get dismissed from the hospital, like, he could have been admitted to the hospital, which would have been a whole different story. And I'm so grateful. So the test came back negative, which is great. I still don't really know like what happens next, but yeah, and so I'm trying to get wrap things up in the house for the day and get some stuff done, and then just as Jason is getting his results that were that were good, that were like, oh, okay, like you get to be discharged from the emergency room, the power went out. And not just the power in our house, but the power like 4,500 people in our community, no power. So I communicate this to my family in hopes that they'll be like, oh, we'll stop texting you to save power on your phone, right? No, they just keep like, oh, get out the lamps and get out the get out the candles and the hurricane lantern. I do have these kind of lanterns, so this is pretty impressive. So I seriously, like, I found the flashlight first, and then I found this, and I was literally like walking around the house like this, trying to see like what else needed to be done, trying to remember what lights I had turned on, what lights I hadn't turned on. So Jason comes home, like the house is like essentially pitch black except for that lantern and the flashlight. We're exhausted. I personally felt like every muscle in my body had been tense for so long, and Jason can't sleep very well without a machine that helps him breathe at night that requires power. So he was waiting for the power to come back on. The power did not come back on until 1:30 in the morning. So when we woke up, yeah, we were absolutely exhausted. We were just wiped out. I got a lot more sleep than Jason did, but it was very traumatic. And so the lesson of all of this, to me at least, was, you know what, it doesn't really matter if I'm in the holiday spirit or not. Like, I just want the people that I love to be safe and well, and I know that I don't always have control over that. There will be times when that's not the case, but just made me grateful for the people in my life that, my family, especially, more than anything else, like, just, it's very, so anyway, the holiday spirit, like, if there was going to be any, it went out the window, but we're going to watch, we're still going to do our holiday traditions, over the weekend, watch the movies that we watch. We're going to virtually attend church and hopefully sing some carols and things like that. So it's not about the gifts. It's not about oh, I have to be merry every year at this time, that kind of thing. Jason's home, and I am so grateful for that. So, let's talk about books. Still reading, but almost done with The Christmas Mystery. If you haven't heard me talk about this before, this book is by Jostein Gaarder, and I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. This was originally written in Norwegian and it's translated, and it acts like an advent calendar. So there's a reading every day. So Saturday morning, I will finish this one up, which would be great. And it's a really interesting story. It definitely is religious. So I would say if that's not your thing, this is probably not the right book for you, but it definitely is about, you know, Bethlehem, but also Jesus's life. And, you know, there's this kind of like a pilgrimage almost, to Bethlehem. So from Norway. So that's not something that you read every day. And there's kind of like layers of stories within them, and it's just, there's like a puzzle. I still haven't figured out the puzzle. But I'm really enjoying this. Probably won't be a Christmas book that I read every year. But yeah, I do think that I will read this. I will definitely read this multiple times. I'm not getting rid of this or anything like that. So, and the other book, ironically, that I've been reading, it was originally written in Swedish. This is the Saga of Gosta Berling by Selma Lagerlof. She was not only the first woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, but also the first Swedish person to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. And I think it's primarily because of this book. This book, the structure of this book is fascinating. It's very different. Gosta Berling is a defrocked minister, and it's kind of, I mean, he's not the main character in every chapter, but he's sort of, he's part of it. He's definitely woven into the story. But amidst that are all of these incredible female characters, and so maybe they're not the main characters, but they're just really complex and interesting, and I've just gotten a lot of satisfaction about reading them. There was also, I mean, it feels like the right time to read this. Early on in the book, there's a Christmas scene. It's very, you know, it feels like it's always winter so far. I'm about halfway through. I'm about halfway through the book, or actually a little more than halfway through the book. So I feel very confident that I should be able to finish this weekend. And then I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm gonna try to read before I begin my big project for next year, which leads me to, so my next 3 videos, I'm doing a tag. I'm going to be doing my goals for 2023, and I'm also going to be doing a video about the best books of the year that I read. And then next Friday too, we'll also talk about like new subscribers to this channel and welcome them. And hopefully I'll be able to lead you to some other great small Booktube channels. Booktube, I would love to hear what you're reading. Are you seeing family this weekend? What are you doing? So I would love to know that down in the comments section below. You can even tell me like what your reading goals are for the year ahead, whatever. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, I so get that, but I promise nothing bad will happen. You can leave just an emoji It's like a wave, a Christmas tree. I think there's a Santa. So anyway, you can leave an emoji, or the other thing you can do is give this video a thumbs up, and I will consider that your way of saying hello. So I wish you all the very best, and I will be back next week with lots of bookish videos to wrap up the year. So talk to you soon, Booktube. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Bye.